Hello friends, long time no see. So today I have some exciting news. I am pregnant. I am currently 15 weeks pregnant and yeah, it's been a journey. So to do this video because when I was waiting to find out if I was pregnant or not, I watched a lot of these 2-week wait videos and just about like your symptoms and things that you experience in the 2-week wait from when you ovulate to the date of your expected period. And so I had kind of an interesting story and I had a lot of symptoms, so I wanted to come on here and share them with you guys. And excuse my funny thumb, I cut myself with a serrated knife, so the clumsiness of pregnancy is definitely not spared me. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I wrote some notes just so that I could like remember everything. So as I mentioned, I'm 15 weeks. I'm due October 6th of 2020. And so I found out that I was pregnant on January 24th. And so what had happened was, so I had really irregular periods. I had been going to the doctor to try and figure out what was going on because I got off of birth control March of last year. And then since then I had like crazy like 70-day cycles, just all over the place. So I had my period on December like 9th, I think it was, of 2019. And the month before that was the first time that I got positive ovulation test since I had been off of birth control in March. And I had gotten that positive ovulation test on like day 30 of my cycle. And it was confirmed with my doctor. Like I went and got blood work done to check my progesterone to make sure that I had ovulated. So I had been taking ovulation tests basically like every day after I got my period because of the fact that it was so irregular. I wanted to make sure that I caught it. And so around, it was I think day 30, I got, so I have it written right here, on 1/6 I got my first positive ovulation test. And so I was like, okay, cool, like this is kind of like my last cycle, even though it's like still completely off. You know, it's kind of like my last cycle where it's about day 30. So I then got the next day I got like a darker positive. So I was like, okay, this is the peak, like this is exactly how it happened last time. Like this is it. So that was really encouraging. So I was like, okay, cool. So at this point we're not trying to get pregnant. This was just me. I really wanted to keep track of everything because we wanted to try eventually. And so we just needed to like figure out what the heck was going on with my body. So then so that, like I said, was 1/7. Then, to my surprise, on 1/13, I was having like really sharp left pelvic pain, and it was just like you could feel like an egg bursting. Like it was just like that sort of pain. Like you're just like, there is something going on there. So that's what so I was like, this is weird. So I went ahead and took an ovulation test again, just like, I don't know. So I took one, and this one was like the second line. It's one of the ones where it has like always 2 lines, but the second line has to be the same color or darker than the first line. So this time, like it had taken some of the dye from the first line and was like exponentially darker. And so I was like clearly very confused because I was like, I just got a positive last week. And so but like the pain was so obvious and the like test was so obvious that I was like, oh no, like this is apparently when I'm actually ovulating, or I ovulated again. I have no idea. To this day, I still really don't know, other than that I know that that is the actual time for sure that I did ovulate. So I don't know what the other test was about. I have no idea. So for the other 2 tests, because I got, it was 2 days in a row. But anyway, so at this point, I kind of start to panic a little bit because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is actually when I ovulated then. So like this changes everything. So from that moment, it's kind of like in my head already. And I'm like, you know, you always think, you're like, but no, like this can't be it. Like it's not going to happen. So I but I start to like symptom spot, I guess. And so I started to just keep track of all these things because I'm like, if it happens, like I'll have all these things to film a video with, I guess. So I start to, I'm just gonna like, I had pretty much the same symptoms like the entire time, like right off the bat. I had like cramping, I had pelvic pain, I had, bloating, and I was like really bloated that whole time, and I was tired. So I had that for pretty much like that entire week. And at this point, so once I figured that out, I like stopped. Not that I drink a lot, but like we went out for drinks. I didn't get a drink because I was like, okay, this like could actually be a very real possibility. So then on the 20th, so I'm supposed to get my period at like, I would say probably like the 27th, 28th, based off of like last time. And so on the 20th, I start to get nipple soreness, which like, of course, these videos are always TMI, so I'm not going to give you a TMI warning for that. But usually this had been happening for me before my period, but it would happen like it would stop like a week before my period. So this was weird that it was starting a week before my period. But I was like, I'm like not really that weird, but all these other symptoms were still in my mind. So then on the 21st and the 22nd, I remember this is when my husband was like, yeah, you're definitely pregnant, because I started to just like, I was like really hungry, and just, I don't usually have, like I don't eat huge meals or anything, but I remember we got takeout from a place, and I just was like inhaling the food. I was just starving. And so then on the 22nd at night again, I did the same thing. I told my husband, I'm just like, I'm so hungry. And I was like late at night. He was like, okay, something's up. So then on the 23rd is when I took my first test. And so this was still like, I want to say, I can't remember the exact days DPO. I want to say it was like 9, 8, maybe 8 days. No, it might have been 7 days DPO. So I knew it was really early. I just like couldn't wait any longer. But I also took an ovulation test, because I had heard the thing about how like an ovulation test can detect whether it's HCG or LH, that it'll just like detect something, and so that it'll show up as positive. Or will slowly start to. So there was a little bit of a faint line, or there like the line was there. It wasn't dark or anything than the other line, but it was there. So I then on the 24th, I had a whole like very weird. I took a test, I think, in the morning. It was negative, but then I also took an ovulation test, and it was darker than the day before. So I was like, huh. And so that kind of like made me start thinking. And then later in the afternoon, I think I pulled out my pregnancy test from the morning, and I was like, am I seeing things, or is there like, it was totally one of those things. Like I was like squinting, like looking at it weirdly, like taking pictures of it, just doing all of the things. And it was just so like almost there. And so then I kind of started to freak out, and then I took a million tests, and then like finally got one that was positive. But that is kind of like my synopsis of my 2-week wait. So I definitely had like very clear symptoms. Like I said, the bloating, the cramping, like I had cramping the entire time. And even after like the positive, I had cramping, like light cramping, for probably until I was like 10 weeks pregnant. Maybe 9 weeks pregnant, but now at this point, like I said, I'm 15 weeks, and now it's like I'll get cramping every once in a while, but not anything too bad. But I definitely, like, that was a very clear sign for me, because I don't usually get like PMS cramping or anything like that. And like I said, the bloating is very real at the beginning there, and I felt that like immediately, and the pelvic pain that like kind of persisted. I didn't have any implantation bleeding or anything like that. So anyway, that is my little 2-week wait symptoms. So I hope that if you're hoping to be pregnant and you're watching these videos trying to find symptoms that match up with yours, I hope that you are pregnant. So I will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.